Hello, everybody, and welcome to First Friday Lunch. My name is Tina Holland, if you've never been here before, and I usually talk about what's going on in the writing world, or more specifically, my writing world. I don't usually talk about all the publishing industry stuff um, unless there's something that affects me. So today you got a little bit different view because I am working off. I got a big screen in front of me where I'm going to be going over this presentation. And today we are going to be talking about marketing. And I'm going to be discussing how the marketing that I did for my Regency romance and how that went. So why don't we go ahead and dive right into it? I'm going to turn off this banner so that's not in the way. And we'll jump right into it. Okay, also really quick, you guys could let me know if you can hear and see everything okay. That would be wonderful. So, okay, nobody complaining, so that's a good sign. All right, so the first part of this is just a slide deck I put together. So we're going to talk about marketing your book, the good, the bad, and the free, which is what I like to do because I'm very nervous. I won't be discussing ads at all, like Amazon ads or anything like that, because I just don't really know them that well. But there are plenty of other resources out on the interwebs that you can find out that information. So the first thing is we're going to talk about marketing and promotional tools, and I've got them all on one slide here. Marketing, some things to think about are website, a newsletter, and then I've included the cover in this, not necessarily the editing, but the cover portion of it, just because that's sort of the first thing that readers will gravitate towards. And so I've included that in the marketing section. Then when you get into promotion, then we'll talk about ads, book tour and book signing, social media, and swag. So one of the things is the difference between marketing and promotional tools, in my opinion, is marketing is something you're always doing, like your website, your newsletter, the cover of your book, that's marketing. But when we talk about promotion, the way I think of it is you're talking about a single commodity. You're talking about promoting a single book. You're talking about promoting a series. So it's when you're putting an effort towards one or multiple items in a series. And then that's what I consider to be promotion. Okay, so some comedy marketing tools are your website. I have a website. It's www.tinaholland.com, but I have to get the S added onto the HTTP. And so I usually direct people to the WordPress because it just points to my blog anyway. So that's where you would find me on the interwebs. And when I talked about website last month, when we talked about self-publishing, one of the things that I said is you don't necessarily need a website, but you need a landing page where readers can find you, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, website, or I guess now too, there's something called Linktree. And so a lot of authors will have that as well. But you need to have a place where you can interact with your readers. I pay less than $60 a year. I pay I think it's like $59.97 for 2 years. And I think that'll up once I get the S added on to HTTP. So that'll probably increase in price. So that's probably why I'm not paying very much, is because it's technically not secure. So a lot of times if people were to go out to www.tinaholland.com, they'll get this error message that it's not secure. So I started just directing people to my blog using that address, even though the website points to the blog. So, okay, I do a newsletter and I do it via MailChimp for free. So, and it's free up until you have so many, I don't know if they call them members or readers or subscribers. It's free up until a certain point. So I'm still free. And then cover. And I included the cover was done by Melody Simmons. And like I said, I'm including that because that is kind of part of your advertising. I didn't include the cost of formatting, which I did myself, or the editing, which I paid about $500 for. Even those are part of marketing, but you need to do those things anyway before you can put the book out into the world. But I did kind of include Melody Simmons the cost of the cover in with my marketing because it is a marketing tool, right? But when we get to the end and I show you like how much I spent, I did not include it in that because I was looking at it more from a promotional point of view. Okay. Gonna double check, make sure we don't have any questions. Nothing. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is the common promotional tools. Ads. I did do ads on Coffee Time Romance, and it was $20 for the month of February. And I got on a blog as well as on their front page. I think the front page one was only for a couple weeks, and the blog was for the entire month. I think from the 15th of February. So it like caught the tail end. It went from like January 15th to February 15th on one, and February 15th to I think it'll go until like March 15th. So it's probably still up in the one spot. Now it's $20. Book tour and book signings are another thing you can do. I did a book tour through Silver Dagger Book Tours, and she has a bunch of different options. I did a 2-week book tour starting on February 1st, which my book came out on February 9th. I did it on February 1st and went until February 15th, so right after Valentine's Day. And that cost me $90. I also did a book signing at Words to Live By, which is a bookstore in Moorhead, Minnesota. And that was free. That didn't cost me anything. It was set up by the Moorhead Friends Writing Group. I was the Spotlight Author of the Month since I had a release. And so I went and did a book signing on the 10th. So the very day after my book had gone live. Social media, can be free unless you're doing Facebook ads. And like I said, I didn't do any Facebook ads. So the social media that I'm on, I have a blog. I have about 7,000 subscribers to my blog. So I will go ahead and post there. And then it automatically posts to Facebook, X, and Pinterest for me. And then I also did some promotional things, like I took a picture and did some stuff on Instagram. And then I did a cover reveal on YouTube. And then, of course, last month we talked about self-publishing. So I did some of that. And even this can kind of count towards marketing because I'm talking about my book on YouTube, right? Swag. And so when we're talking about swag, we're talking about cups, bookmarks, postcards, those sorts of things. I was going to do some bookmarks and then I ended up not doing anything. So those are kind of the common promotional tools that you will see. And then the next item is, okay, so I'm going to go into the sales. This is actually what I did for sales. It didn't show up because I changed the theme here, but I do have, let me see if that pulled over. Give me 1 second. I think we've got to go. Okay. Hold on. Let's see if we're sharing here. Yes, we are. Okay, perfect. I made this kind of super big so you guys could see. So these are the sales that I actually did in the month of February. Most of them were actually before the release. Only a couple. I just checked them this morning and nothing's changed. So we're going to kind of go through them. So on Amazon, I sold 10 books, and I'm not distinguishing. Oh, I did distinguish. These are all ebooks. Okay. So Apple, I sold 4, and it's purple because I sold them through Draft to Digital. I did 2 books with Barnes and Noble Press. I believe those were ebooks. I think those were ebooks. Draft to Digital, I sold 4 print books. Kobo, haven't sold anything. Hoopla, which is a library service, I haven't done anything. Lightning Source, which is Ingram's print branch, I did 6 books in the United States, 1 book in the UK, and 2 in Germany. And so that means people ordered a print book and basically Ingram shipped it to them. So and that may be through their local bookstore. It may have been an online bookstore that does print. Moorhead Friends Writing Group. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but I also noted a couple of my other titles here. The Courtesan of Constantinople, Alchemist of Archangel, and Drake's Desire are also where I did some sales. in the month of January, so I went ahead and checked those. Drake's Desire, all those are through my publisher, Books Boutiques, and that's a short little post-apocalyptic story. But I thought, okay, sometimes when you have a new release, it'll sell your backlist. So on Hoopla, I happened to sell one Courtesan of Constantinople and one Drake's Desire, and those are both first in series. So that I don't know. They may have looked and decided not to get a Regency book, or maybe Hoopla didn't have. I think Hoopla may not have had the book until actually the 9th. So I might see more sales through the library systems as we go on. Okay, we did these prints. Moorhead Friends Writing Group print. These are like book signings that we do at craft fairs and stuff like that. And whether I go or not, they will sell them for me. And so I sold one Regency at, I believe it was the Masonic Lodge signing or fair. So I sold a book there. And then I also sold a book at, I also sold Courtesan of Constantinople there as well. And then at More Than Words to Live By, at that book signing, I sold 3 books. And then I sold one Courtesan of Constantinople. Okay, Overdrive, which is Libby, which is a library system, I sold 2 books. So it might depend. They must have all gone out at the same time, but Hoopla hasn't bought or sold, or maybe people use more Libby than anything else. So basically I sold a total of 35, and then I sold 3 books at uh, 3. Okay, so I sold 3 Courtesan of Constantinople, and I sold 1 Drake's Desire. So I thought, okay, well, I'll put these in just so people can see them. I also ended up giving away 2 of these on the book tour that I did through Silver Dagger Book Tours. So one of the things that she does is she gives away a $10 gift certificate to Amazon. And then I was giving away the Courtesan of Constantinople and the Alchemist of Archangel. The winner of the Alchemist of Archangel, I gave them the choice of either that book or if they wanted the Courtesan of Constantinople, which is the first book, and they chose that one. So I ended up doing 2 free giveaways there. All right. And then these are just my notes here, like where I sold them through. So through Book Boutiques, through Draft to Digital, via Dutch Girl Press. So the only thing that is not included in here are any returns. So if any of those books get returned digitally, those are not built in. And then there are some overseas sales that are going on through Draft to Digital, and then also print. So I don't have any of those numbers. And Kobo is actually a Canadian-based company, so it's possible they're not reporting anything yet, but I don't think I've sold anything through them. So that is basically how that looks for sales. Okay. All right. And then I think I got to just go back over here quick, and we will go. I'm going to stop this, and then I will go ahead and I'll go ahead and pick up the back to the presentation. Oops. It's always hard to decide like how to do that. I was going to have it in black and white, but I couldn't get it. I prefer the black and white theme because it's easier for me to see. And you may notice I'm not wearing my glasses because I do have this huge screen in front of me. So I thought, no. Okay. Double check we're on the same page. Perfect. All right. Okay, so we discussed that. And so overall stats. So this is kind of like what money do we have, right? So I spent $110 on promotion, and I reached number 2,329 on Amazon Regency historical list. So then Amazon breaks down these lists, and that was the highest I reached. So I was checking that. It was probably February 9th at like 11:30 p.m. or something. It was pretty late in the day, but that was the highest I ever reached compared to when I wrote my steampunk, and that was published through Book Boutiques. I kind of did the same promotion technique, and I ended up reaching number 269 or something on the, or 169. No, 269. 269 on the Amazon steampunk list for fiction. So this is pretty good. Regency is a pretty competitive market. So I was like, that's not too bad to hit in the, under 10,000. I think I'm at like 14,000 right now in military romance because I had put it in there because they only give you 3 categories. So you can't really drill down. And so that was like a third category that I had put it in. I sold 35 books to actually, what is that, 35 or is it 36? I'm going to peek quick. It is, I think it's 35. Yeah, 35. So I sold 35 books to date. And then the estimated royalties. Now, like I said, this doesn't include, this is just what I could tell because some of them won't report what they're going to pay you until they actually kind of get the money. A good example is like Ingram isn't reporting those overseas sales. So I don't know when I'll get those, and they're going to pay me 3 months later. So this could end up being more, or if we end up dealing with returns, it could end up being less. So estimated royalties are $132.15. So if I look at just the promotional points, because I'm not looking at what I spent on the cover, I'm not looking at what I spent on my website because those I'm always going to have those. If I got to put out a book and I'm not doing the cover, I have to pay for the cover. So this is strictly looking at a promotional sales point, like how much might they make. And so if I look at this, I made $22.15. So was that successful? It's not the end of the thing. I think it might be. I'm going to just. I think that might be the end of my slides. So basically I made $22.15. Stop sharing. Okay. That'll go roll over. Yeah, that was my last slide. Okay, so that's basically what I made. I made, $22.15, which I don't think is too bad. Some people might disagree and think that that really wasn't worth doing, but I think it was. I think it was totally worth doing. I think I made enough money that it looked pretty good. So that is all I have for you guys today. Kind of a short session. We'll wrap it up right before noon. At least my time, it's noon. Is anybody else having unseasonably warm weather? It's been very warm. Next month is our first Friday lunch is going to be April. Let's put it in here. It's going to be April 1st at 11:30 Central Standard. Is it April 1st? April 5th. April 5th. Sorry, March 1st. I was in my brain for today. So April 5th at 11:30 a.m. And so that is, we're going to talk about, I normally talk about death and taxes. I don't know if I'm going to talk about that. I've got a couple videos out on that. So you could go back and look at last year's because I don't know that there's going to be that much of a difference between this year and last year, but it kind of talks about deductions and stuff like that. But most serious authors are already dealing with that. So I don't know that I'm going to do that again. I might talk about something else. So if you guys have anything that you would like me to talk about at next month, go ahead and put it in the comments and I will go ahead and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So that is all I have for you today. So once again, next First Friday lunch is going to be April 5th at 11:30 a.m. So go ahead and pencil me in for lunch.